Alright, I'm going to show you how to make a 2D game engine in Java. In this video, we're going to focus specifically on making the game loop, aka also known as a game thread. This can be the heart of our game in our engine where all the logic of our game is run. So when we get started, let's go into our new project, which I call Java Game Engine. Let's go ahead and create our main class. So we'll go ahead and call this game class game, or if you had an actual name for game, say Black Ops, you name this Black Ops. This is going to be our game. In order to run our game, just like any Java program, we'll need a main method. So let's go ahead and create that right now. So go ahead and use the static void string args, and that's going to be our main method. Now what we're going to do is go ahead and set up our engine. So we'll go ahead and make a new package. This package we're going to call core. If you guys don't know what a package is, it's just a folder pretty much that organizes your code. So that's short, sweet, and simple to the point, oversimplified, but let's go ahead and dive in real quick. In this package, we're going to go ahead and create a class. And this will be our engine class. It's going to be the main centerpiece of the whole engine. And the reason why we're going to put it inside this core package is we're going to label this core because this is where all our core functionality of our game is going to lie. So when we go and actually create our game, all the classes are going to extend to make all of our objects and everything else in our game is going to come from this section. So it's just an easy way to help us find and organize all the code that we need to use later on. So now that we're in our engine class, let's go ahead and create a default constructor. So when our game engine is instantiated, we don't do any initial setup. That's going to just be baseline features. So we're going to have our game engine. We're going to need some basic methods. So we're going to need some start and stop methods. Those are going to be the beginner things we need. So to start the game, we'll make a method called launch. So this is going to start our game. Also what we're going to need is a stop method, and we'll go ahead and call that shutdown. Now, the key part of this game engine, we're going to need something that's going to run all the game logic inside our engine, and therefore run everything in our game. So let's go ahead and declare a method. We'll actually make this private because we don't want any other object to be able to see this. We want only the engine class itself. So we'll go ahead and make this private, void, and we'll call this thread because this will be the main game thread that's going to be run where all the logic will be encapsulated. So this game loop is going to run over and over again each second. And in order to do that, it's going to simply use a while loop. And for now, just for simplicity, we'll put true as a condition. So in order to test our stop method, let's go ahead and type game.shutdown. What do we expect to happen is we launch the game, and then immediately after it started, it should shut down. But if we run that, we're going to see that's not the case. The game's going to keep running again and again and again and not stop. So let's go ahead and shut it down ourselves. And the reason why it's doing that is because code runs procedurally. So once we told our game to launch, I hit F3, it will take me to this definition. It's going to come in here, check the game's running, and it's not. So we're going to set run to true, go to thread. Then thread's going to say, come inside this loop and keep running this loop while running is still true. Well, since we're stuck inside this loop, we're going to keep running the logic inside this loop until running is false. We're never going to return all the way back to our launch statement so we can finish it and we execute the next instruction. So we need to stop this. We need to make sure we run this on a brand new thread. So that way, whatever runs here in our game thread will not be happening in the exact same time as everything else in this script we're going to write. So in order to fix that, we need to go ahead back to our engine class. And we need to tell it that, hey, we have some logic we want to run on side a thread that's going to separate from the rest of our threads in the main thread that we're running off of. So if we go ahead and implement the runnable interface, that will tell Java that we have a class that has logic we want to run on a separate thread. And so in order to add that logic, we need to tell Java when to run that, what code we actually want to run. And to do that, the runnable interface makes us have to include a method called run. And this method is a public void run. So inside here, this is where we will make a call to thread, like so. So now that we have code we want to run in our thread, how do we tell Java we want this code to run? So let's go up here and we're going to change our launch method. And so now we're going to come up here, instead of saying thread, we're going to go ahead and declare a new thread. And we're going to pass in the code we want running, and do that with the pass in an instance of the runnable class, which in this case is engine. And to reference a specific class in a specific instance, we'll type in this, and that will let Java know exactly what we're talking about. In order to start that thread, we then call the start method of the thread. So we do thread input our logic and hit start. And that way, our game should run. So now I'm going to go ahead and comment out the game shut down just to prove to you that the game. Now, so what we're going to do is, once we launch our game, we're going to set running equal to true. That way, our game engine knows that we're actually running our logic now, and the game is in fact running. And likewise, we're going to do the opposite in the shutdown method. We're going to say running is equal to false, so our game knows when to stop. And now we're going to come back down here to our thread, and we'll change our while condition now to be running. So this will allow us to come in and out of this loop from outside of this loop running inside here. So if we didn't have this running up here, we wouldn't be able to break out of this loop anywhere besides this code right here. There's no code, as you can see here, that's stop this loop at any point. So we want a way to be able to call our game engine and tell it to stop running from outside of this loop itself. So we went ahead and add two methods for that. And just real quick, we're going to add a check when we go ahead and call our game. So we tell it to launch. We want to check first if the game is running. If the game is indeed running, we're going to just return out of this method and not do anything else. Because we don't want our game to just relaunch itself in the middle of running, because then our game's going to restart and can really mess things up, and that's not how we want to use and play our game. It just makes sense. Now we've got everything we need to set up and started. So now we're going to go back to our game class. Go ahead and save this. Our game class, what we're going to do is we're going to have a parent-child relationship between our game that we want to make and our engine. When we do that, we'll type extends and we'll type engine. It makes sense that our game is going to extend our engine because our engine is what our game is going to run off of. In order to import our engine, because it is in a different package, the easiest way to do that in Java is just Control-Shift-O. That will automatically import or remove any imports that are not being used, and also add ones that you need that are not currently added to your list of imports at the top of your page. So we go ahead now inside, in order to declare an instance of our engine, which we'll call game, and we'll then set that equal to a new instance of our game that we're currently in and about to run. You just simply explicitly call game here, but just for simplicity and the sake of understanding how an engine actually works, we're going to say engine here, so it looks more like what's actually going on behind the scenes. So we're saying we're going to start up our engine, and we're going to run our game under the context of our engine. So now what we're going to tell our game to do is go ahead and launch. So if we go ahead and top and we run this, you'll see approximately every second we're going to get hello world printed to the screen. So we never call it shut down anymore, the game's not going to stop. So we're going to have to come over here until the program stops executing. So in order to test our stop method, let's go ahead. And now inside this while loop is where all of our game logic is going to happen. So I'll go ahead and comment and write game logic. This is where the game logic is going to happen. For now, our logic is really simple. We're just going to print out to the screen hello world. So let's go ahead and do that right now. So let's go system.out. Current line, and we'll go right hello world. So that's going to be our oversimplified game logic. The next thing we're going to need is going to be what tells our game engine how long to wait before performing each frame. So if we're running 6 frames per second, we're breaking up our game logic running 60 different times each second. And so now we're going to add the part that tells it how long to wait before coming back and reiterating the next iteration of our loop. So the easiest way we're going to do that, Name this for the timer section. So it's going to handle all the timing of our game loop. We're just going to simply just do a thread.c. That's just going to tell our program once it hits this line of code, it's going to stop executing any code until this amount of time passes. So the argument it takes is going to be milliseconds. And we'll just say 500 milliseconds for now, which is going to be half a second. But let's bring that down to just a second, so it's easy for you guys to visualize when you start putting out hello world that we are indeed waiting 1 second between each iteration of running our game code. Because when we're trying to make this thread sleep, we do have to surround it in try-catch, because sometimes errors can happen where the thread will not sleep. So we go ahead and put try-catch here and handle it. That means our game is not going to just crash because all of a sudden it failed to just sleep on us. And alright, so now that we have our game thread where all of our logic is going to happen, we need to tell Game Engine when to start actually processing this. So what we'll do that here is call it in our launch method. So once we tell our Game Engine to launch, we'll then run our game thread and keep running until we tell it to stop. So how do we actually tell it to stop? Well, we need to change this while loop here to have a condition called a flag. So we'll come up here in the engine and we'll define a local variable, which we'll call running. So running will store the state of the game and tell us if the game is running or is it currently not running. So when we instantiate our object, by default, we go ahead and set running equal to false. We're doing that because just because we instantiate our object, we don't want the game to automatically run just because we create an instance of the game. Say we got some engine settings you want to set up, some resources you want to load, so we got a splash screen, anything like that. Well, we want to load that stuff up before our game starts running, or we're going to have some serious issues. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So now, when we launch our game, what we're going to do is set. And also, we'd like to have some debug features, so that way we can tell what our frame rates are between second to second and all those fun stuff. So next video will explain all that in detail and how we're going to reconfigure our class to set that stuff up. Until next time.